What's up, family? How are you? April 23rd, Thursday. Today's passage comes from Deuteronomy chapter 9, verses 1 through 8. So today I'm going to switch it up a little bit and share something a bit more personal. So the tone might be a bit more serious. So what's really interesting was last year during fellowship, a couple of colleagues and myself, we talk about this idea of an identity crisis quite often. We talk about how there are moments in time where you seem to question everything you do, where things that you're doing just don't quite fit the way that you thought it should, right? Expectations don't quite align. And you question the validity of what you're doing. You question your place in your community. You question your place at your work. And you sort of question your role in society as a whole. And it's gnarly because my colleagues and I talk about how as you grow into your profession and you go in step by step, these days come along more frequently and more often. And in fact, it almost happens much more on a slightly more intense level than it usually does, right? So I'm sharing this with you because yesterday I had one of those moments. A pastor online described it as such, where he basically hit a wall. Like he hit a wall so hard, and this wall is essentially him running against his identity, right? So why do I mention this? I mention this because yesterday, in these last couple of days, that's how I've been feeling, right? I've been feeling a little bit of this identity crisis in terms of not quite sure what my place is in the world, sort of running up against this idea of questioning the things that I do, the reasons why I do them, and the validity to which they have, or the effectiveness of what they're doing. And it was a strange feeling. It was a feeling that I haven't had since fellowship, but it was definitely one of those moments, one of those days. Now, it's interesting because God today, using Deuteronomy, reassures me in this way, right? There's many different parts between verses 1 through 8 that he talks about. Really, it's not because of your righteousness that God has given you this land, right? In verse 4, right there in verse 6, it is not because of your righteousness that God is giving you this good land. It's not because of the things that we do that God cares for us. He cares for us simply because of how good He is, simply because He sees the world around us and He wants to bless us with what we have. And that comes as an encouragement to me, because a lot of times I think we're all on this merit-based idea where the things you do become who you are, right? I do physical therapy, therefore I am this. Or I work out, therefore I am this. I am good at school, therefore I am this. And that becomes an identity of who you are, versus actually, at the end of the day, God is your identity. Right? Because people will change, circumstances will change. We're not always in physical therapy. We're not always at school. We're not always in different formats, working for different groups. But God never changes. And it's just such a reassuring thing for me to know that when I do have these moments, God takes His time to reach out and just pat me on the back saying, it's okay. And the reason why I want to share this with you all today is I don't know where you're at. I don't know if you have these feelings, these identity crises, or if you have these moments like I do. But if you do, it's okay. It's normal. In fact, it's almost expected for us to have these crises, right? Because if we never have these crises, we never reflect on who we are, and we never question the things that we do. To a certain point, a healthy skepticism is important, right? You need to think about the reasons behind why you're doing things, the ways you're going about doing things, and whether or not that's actually achieving what you think it is, right? So if you are having these moments, I want to reassure you, it's normal, it's safe, it's weird and uncomfortable, doesn't feel good, but it is expected, okay? If you have any thoughts, any questions, any reflections on this idea, hit me up, let me know, either in these chat groups, or if you want to do this privately, feel free to do so. Okay, guys, I miss you all. I love you all. We're coming close to our Friday and Sunday services. It'd be good to see all of you again. All right, take care, everybody. I love you.